If you are retired, approaching retirement, or already collecting Social Security, there are 7 money mistakes you should seriously think twice about making before January 2027. And the biggest problem is that these mistakes don't always look like mistakes when you're making them. Sometimes it's a simple decision at the bank. Sometimes it's delaying a retirement account withdrawal, ignoring a tax notice, making the wrong Social Security decision, or assuming that because you've done something the same way for 20 years, it must still be the best way to do it today. But retirement finances are different. When you're working, a financial mistake can often be corrected with your next paycheck. In retirement, you may be living on a fixed monthly income, and one bad decision can affect your taxes, your benefits, your savings, or the amount of money available to you for years. So in today's video, we're going through 7 money mistakes seniors should avoid before January 2027. This is especially important because we're getting closer to a new tax year, and decisions made during the final months of 2026 can have consequences well into 2027. And stay with me until mistake number 7, because it is one of the easiest mistakes to overlook, and it can involve money that you may already have earned but simply haven't claimed or protected properly. Mistake number 1 is waiting too long to review your Social Security situation. Many seniors treat their Social Security check as if it is completely fixed forever. Once the money starts arriving every month, they stop looking at the details. But your retirement income is not just about the amount printed on your monthly statement. Your Social Security benefits can interact with other income, taxes, Medicare-related costs, and your overall retirement strategy. If you're married, widowed, divorced, or still working while receiving benefits, your situation can be even more complicated. That's why before 2027, you should review your Social Security record and make sure your earnings history is accurate, your personal information is correct, and you understand what benefits you're actually receiving. A mistake in your earnings record can potentially affect the benefit calculation. And if you have questions about your specific situation, don't rely on a social media post or a random online video alone. Check your official Social Security information, and when appropriate, speak with a qualified professional. The point here isn't that every senior needs to change their Social Security strategy. The point is that doing nothing without checking is itself a decision. Before the year ends, take a few minutes to understand exactly where your Social Security income fits into your larger retirement plan. Mistake number 2 is taking money from your retirement accounts without thinking about the tax consequences. This is extremely important for anyone with a traditional IRA, 401k, 403b, or another tax-deferred retirement account. Many retirees look at their account balance and think, that's my money, so I can simply withdraw whatever I need. Technically, the money may belong to you, but the tax treatment can be very different depending on where that money came from and how much you withdraw. A large withdrawal in one year can potentially push more of your income into higher tax brackets and can also affect other parts of your retirement finances. That's why instead of waiting until you suddenly need a large amount of cash, consider planning withdrawals in advance. Look at your expected Social Security income, pension income, investment income, and retirement account withdrawals together. If you need a substantial amount of money for a home repair, medical expense, family assistance, or another major purchase, understand what that withdrawal could do to your overall tax picture before you take it. And remember, tax rules can be complicated and individual circumstances vary. So this is an area where a qualified tax professional can be worth the cost. The mistake isn't necessarily withdrawing money. The mistake is withdrawing it blindly. Mistake number 3 is keeping too much money sitting in the wrong place. Now, let's be clear. Having cash available for emergencies is important. Seniors should generally have accessible money for unexpected expenses because retirement can bring costs that you simply cannot predict. But there's a difference between maintaining an appropriate emergency reserve and leaving a large portion of your retirement savings in an account without considering whether it fits your needs. If your money is sitting somewhere earning very little while inflation continues to reduce purchasing power, the real value of those savings can gradually decline. On the other hand, moving everything into investments simply because you want a higher return can expose you to risks that may not be appropriate for money you'll need soon. So before January 2027, take a look at the different buckets of your money. How much do you need for immediate expenses? How much might you need within the next 1 to 3 years? And how much is truly long-term money? The goal isn't to chase the highest return. The goal is to make sure your cash, investments, and retirement accounts each have a job. A simple retirement plan can become much easier to manage when you know exactly which account is meant for emergencies, which is for regular spending, and which is designed for longer-term growth. Mistake number 4 is ignoring the impact of inflation on your retirement lifestyle. This is one of the most dangerous mistakes because it happens slowly. You may look at your Social Security payment or pension and think, I'm receiving the same amount every month, so I'm okay. But your monthly income isn't the only number that matters. What matters is what that income can actually buy. Groceries, insurance, utilities, housing costs, transportation, repairs, and other everyday expenses can change over time. A retirement budget that worked perfectly a few years ago may not work as well today. Before 2027, sit down and calculate your actual monthly spending. Not what you think you spend, but what you really spend. Look at the last several months of bank and credit card statements and categorize the expenses. You may discover subscriptions you're no longer using, insurance costs that have changed, bank fees you didn't notice, or recurring expenses that can be reduced. And don't make the mistake of cutting everything simply because you're worried about inflation. The better strategy is to identify the expenses that provide real value and eliminate the ones that don't. Every dollar saved on an unnecessary recurring expense is another dollar that can remain available for the things that actually matter to you. Mistake number 5 is giving financial help to family members without protecting your own retirement first. This can be one of the most emotional financial decisions a senior ever faces. Maybe your adult child needs help with rent. Maybe a grandchild needs money for school. Maybe a family member wants help buying a home or paying off debt. And because you love your family, saying no can feel almost impossible. But there's a very important rule you should remember. You cannot borrow your way out of retirement. If you give away money that you actually need for your own housing, healthcare, food, or future expenses, you may eventually become financially dependent on the same family members you're trying to help. Before giving a large amount of money, calculate what happens if you never get it back. Could you still comfortably pay your bills? Could you handle an unexpected $5,000 or $10,000 expense? Could you afford years of rising healthcare and living costs? If the answer is no, then you may not actually have the money to give. Helping your family is wonderful, but it should come after securing your own financial foundation. And if you're considering a large gift or loan, understand the tax and legal implications before transferring the money. Mistake number 6 is failing to review beneficiaries and important retirement documents. This sounds boring, but it can be one of the most financially important things you do before the end of the year. Your will is important, but your will may not control every financial account. Retirement accounts, life insurance policies, and certain other accounts can have beneficiary designations that determine who receives the assets. That means you could have created a will years ago and still have an outdated beneficiary listed on an account. Think about how many things can change over a lifetime. You may have divorced, remarried, lost a spouse, had children or grandchildren, or simply changed your wishes. An old beneficiary designation can create a situation where your assets don't end up where you expected. So before January 2027, make a list of your retirement accounts, life insurance policies, bank accounts with beneficiary designations, and other relevant assets. Check who is listed. Don't assume everything is correct because you updated your will. If you're unsure about how these documents interact, talk with an estate planning attorney or another qualified professional. This isn't just about leaving money behind. It's about making sure your wishes are actually reflected in the documents controlling your assets. Mistake number 7 is ignoring scams because you think you would never fall for one. This may be the most important mistake on today's list. Financial scams targeting older Americans are becoming increasingly sophisticated. A scammer doesn't necessarily sound like a scammer anymore. They may pretend to be from a government agency, a bank, a delivery company, a technology company, or even a family member. They may create urgency by telling you your account is about to be closed, your benefits are in danger, your computer has been compromised, or you must send money immediately. And when someone is scared or rushed, they are much more likely to make a decision they wouldn't normally make. That's why one of the best financial rules for 2026 and going into 2027 is simple. Never make a major financial decision under pressure. If someone calls demanding immediate payment, hang up and contact the organization through a phone number or website you already know is legitimate. Never give your social security number, banking password, one-time verification code, or other sensitive information to someone who unexpectedly contacts you. And talk to your spouse, children, or a trusted person about a safety plan before a scam happens. Having a plan in advance is much easier than trying to figure out what to do while someone is pressuring you on the phone. Now, here's the bigger picture. These 7 mistakes aren't really 7 separate problems. They are connected. Your Social Security income connects with your taxes. Your retirement account withdrawals connect with your tax bracket. Your spending connects with inflation. Your gifts to family connect with your long-term savings. Your beneficiaries connect with your estate plan. And your scam protection connects with every dollar you've worked for during your lifetime. That's why retirement planning isn't just about finding one magical investment or one government benefit. It's about protecting the entire system. As we move toward January 2027, don't feel like you need to make dramatic financial moves simply because you saw a scary headline online. Instead, use the final months of 2026 as a financial checkup period. Review your income, review your spending, review your retirement accounts, review your beneficiaries, review your taxes, review your Social Security information, and most importantly, understand what decisions actually apply to your personal situation. Some rules are federal, some are state-specific, and some depend on your income, age, marital status, employment, and the type of account you have. And remember, this video is for general educational purposes. It isn't individualized financial, tax, or legal advice. Before making a major move with your retirement savings, talk with a qualified professional who can review your specific circumstances. If this video helped you, make sure you subscribe because retirement rules, Social Security, taxes, Medicare, and senior benefits can change, and understanding those changes before they affect your money can make a major difference. Don't wait until January 2027 to discover that you should have reviewed something months earlier. Your retirement savings took decades to build. Give yourself the time to protect them carefully.